We are waiting to hear news on Texas Tech's investigation into Mark Adams' interactions with his team. Athletics Director Kirby Hocutt suspended him over the weekend for making what were called racially insensitive comments during a coaching session.
In the meantime, Corey Williams has been named interim head coach as the investigation continues. KCBD News Channel 11's Christy Harton joins us in the studio now to explain what Adams says in dispute of the university's initial report. Christy?
Karen and Abner, the athletics department initially claimed Mark Adams apologized to the team for comments he made to a player during a coaching session, but Adams told the publication Stadium that he did not apologize. It's an important distinction in case there's further action on the university's part. An apology could be considered an admission of guilt when it comes to whether action against Adams' contract is with or without cause. Last week, Adams' comments to Stadium and the university agrees that Adams quoted passages from the Bible to a player during a one-on-one session. The athletics department refers to it as an inappropriate, unacceptable, and racially insensitive comment. Adams described it as a private conversation and claims he said nothing inappropriate that wasn't in Scripture. Texas Tech described the passage as encouraging the player to be more receptive to coaching, referencing verses about workers, teachers, parents, and slaves obeying their masters. It then states Adams immediately addressed that conversation with the team and apologized. However, Adams told Stadium he told the player there are always masters and servants regarding jobs and being coachable. He said Jesus taught that we all have bosses and we all are servants, insisting he was quoting the scripture in a non-racially motivated way. Adams then insists that he did not apologize to the team, but rather explained the intent of his message. Adams' current contract extension is through 2027. It's worth a total of $15.5 million. If the university terminates that without cause, it would owe Adams about $7 million. Karen and Abner.
Thank you, Christy.